So we have a preposition here, and the preposition in Greek, as translated by Delitzsch, is alechem, and they will speak concerning you, on you, about you, falsehood, all kinds of falsehood, ba'avuri, because of me. Now, let's look. This is Matthew 5:11. Let's look at the Greek here. In the Greek, it is, and they will speak all manner of evil against you, kathumon, or which comes from kata. So it's against you is they're going to speak all manner of evil. And so Delitzsch faithfully translates the meaning of the Greek. The Hebrew of Shem Tov is something profoundly different, yet it's a difference that if I read it to you, you couldn't hear the difference. Let me read it to you. The Hebrew Matthew of Shem Tov has alechem, and Delitzsch, based on the Greek, has alechem. I just said the same word twice. But here's what people don't know because they can't see my computer. And in ancient Hebrew, there were two letters that had completely different sounds. There was the letter aleph and the letter ayin. And the letter ayin, most modern Jews don't pronounce the ayin. I usually don't either, because in modern Hebrew you don't. But in ancient Hebrew, it was pronounced differently than the aleph. There's this great passage in the Talmud, and it talks in the Talmud about how you don't allow someone from the city of Beit Sha'an to lead the prayer service because they pronounce their aleph as an ayin and their ayin as an aleph. In other words, 2,000 years ago, you had Jews who pronounced the ayin the same way I do, the same as an aleph, right? So you can't hear the difference between alechem and alechem. They sound identical. But if you pronounce the ayin, it's alechem and alechem, right? It's difficult for Western speakers to pronounce it. And the point is, even 2,000 years ago, there were Jews who pronounced them identically. And we have a reference to that, of course, in the Gospels, where they say to Peter, we know you're with that guy because you're a Galilean. We know from your speech. They heard that he pronounced Hebrew a certain way.
We also have an example in the Tanakh.
Speaking
two different ways.
Shibboleth and Siboleth in Judges 12. But here we're talking specifically about what are called guttural letters. The guttural letters are aleph, and people say, well, aleph doesn't have a sound, it's just a vowel. That's not true. Aleph is a consonant called a glottal stop. If you put your hand up to your neck, hope this doesn't mess with the microphone, and you say, uh-oh. So that feeling in your hand from your neck, from your throat, uh-oh, that's called a glottal stop. And that is the consonantal sound made by an aleph. It's that's aleph. Aleph, hey is another guttural letter. Chet is a guttural letter, and ayin is a guttural letter. And what happened is in Second Temple times, you had Jews in the Galilee, and like Beit Sha'an's in the Galilee, or it's just south of the Galilee. You had Jews in northern Israel who confused and mixed aleph, hey, chet, and ayin. And there's a great story in the Talmud about a man who walks through the marketplace. He's a Galilean, and he says, I want to buy Amar, 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 and they have no idea what he's talking about. Does he mean Chamar? Does he mean Amar? Does he mean Semel? Right? There's 5 different things it could be because his pronunciation as a Galilean mixes all these different sounds, most of them gutturals. So, back to what we have here in Shem Tov's Hebrew Matthew. All 20 surviving manuscripts on this section of Shem Tov's Hebrew Matthew have alechem, to you, instead of what the Greek and Delitzsch has, which is alechem with an ayin, and that means against you, concerning you, about you. So that's very different, right? They're not speaking about you lies. They're speaking lies to you.
Stop the presses, everyone. Stop the presses, everyone.
And who are they lying about?
Yeshua.
They're speaking lies to you about Yeshua. Wow. So part of the persecution isn't just to say, you have to bring this sacrifice to the Roman emperor, deny Jesus.
Right.
There's another aspect of the persecution, according to Shem Tov Hebrew Matthew, is where they lie about Yeshua when they speak to you. They tell you things that he taught and that he said they didn't say. Wow. If that's not a pearl, I don't know what is. And all 20 manuscripts have the same exact thing, the alechem with an aleph.